Hey guys, Colorado Camperman Brian here. So today I'm going to be doing something big, literally, to the travel trailer. I'm going to be heading down south to Pueblo, about 50 miles south of Colorado Springs, and someone's going to help me. One of our camping buddies is going to help us flip our axles, give this baby a lift. The main reason that we're doing this is I actually almost ripped off one of the rear jacks, not this one, but this one over here last year when we were doing some dispersed camping. You can see it's a little bit bent, and it got stuck on a cattle guard when we were doing some dispersed camping on some national forest land. And also our dump tank hangs pretty low, and we also have this hitch receiver back here where we like to put our little carrier rack, and if we're going over a bump or a dip or something like that, it's almost scraped out several times. Right now we're at about 10 inches from the ground on our dump tank here, so we're going to go ahead and get these babies flipped and see how high we can get the travel trailer here. So I'm going to head on down here in just a little bit, and I'll show you guys the materials that you're going to need and show you guys the process it takes to flip your axles on your camper. So here are all the items that you will need for flipping your axles. So there's quite a few things. The first thing that you'll need to do, and the first thing you need, is either WD-40 or PB Blaster. What you're going to use this on is your U-bolts, as well as the bolts that you're going to be removing on the leaf springs, and you need to do that in advance to loosen everything up. You're also going to need a socket set, a drill, and either a wire brush set, or if you do have an angle grinder that has a wire brush set, that would work. You're going to use these for when you clean the axle to weld the spring seats or the perches on. You're also going to need a fixed wrench set. Here is a U-bolt set for a trailer. This is a 2 3/8 inch set that I bought from a trailer store here in Colorado Springs. It's called Hickman Trailer. It's actually not a camping store, it's just a trailer store. You can also purchase these online. For my camper, I was actually able to reuse the U-bolts, so I'm going to return this. But it is a good idea. Most people, my buddy was telling me he's done this 4 or 5 times. He said my trailer was the first trailer that we were able to reuse the U-bolts. All the other ones are pretty rusted out. So you may or may not need that. You are also going to need spring seats or a perch. I'll superimpose an image of what that looks like. You're going to need 4 of those. You're also going to need plenty of jack stands and a few jacks. I think in total we had probably 6 jack stands on the camper at one time, and we were using up to 3 jacks as well too. So definitely want to have a few of those around. An impact wrench definitely helps speed up the process. So here's an electric one I have here, and then you need an extension cord obviously, and then an impact socket set. You also are going to need some heat shrink, a heat gun, wire nuts, electrical tape, wire cutters, and then a pair of working gloves. The other thing that I do not have in here is a welder. My buddy had a arc welder that we used, a Hobart arc welder, so you are going to need that. And then I highly recommend at least 1 to 2 other people. We had 3 of us working on this project at once. It made things go much smoother, much quicker, and it was a lot easier than even just 2 of us. So ideally, if there are 3 people that you can have total, that'll make this process go really fast. So now we'll go ahead and get into the steps and show you guys what we're going to do here. So again, this is after my axles have already been flipped. I did not video this beforehand, but so this is my axles have already been flipped. You can see they're on the bottom of the leaf springs there. But what you're going to do, you're going to have to remove these bolts right here because your leaf springs are going to need a drop. So a day ahead of time before you do this, just take your WD-40 or your PB blaster and you just want to hit both sides. Get things real nice and loosened. And same with your U-bolts here. Okay, so you want to hit all the threads and your nut there and just get everything real nice and loosened up. And you want to do this, I actually did this twice. I did this with the WD-40 about 24 hours in advance, and then I hit it again with the PB blaster the morning of doing this, so it probably had an additional 4 hours before we started. So those are the areas, and you know, I just did that on this one wheel. You're going to want to go around. If you have a tandem axle, you're going to want to go around and do that on every single bolt that you're going to be removing. Alright, got the camper all jacked up, taking the U-bolts and the plates off.
Is this a new trailer, bud? Okay. You want a water? Sure.
I think there's probably some more coffee too if you want some.
Judy got me some.
Now we're going to take the leaf off here.
Uh-huh. Nice.
Got some spectators today.
I'll tell you what, well, what's this stuff?
We got the first axle off here. So we got the axle in here. We're gonna weld these perches right here. There's the old one. Need to make a how-to video. Now we
What, are you going to put it on YouTube?
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah. There it is, flip. Just hooked up the brake wires here, now we're just shrink wrapping everything. This axle is done.
Okay, we're solid.
So one thing you gotta make sure is that these guys are pointed up just like this, because if they're pointing down you're gonna have issues. So that axle's all good. Now we're just gonna work on this back one here. We'll be good. Now we're just tightening down the U-bolts. Gotta hook the brakes back up. We'll be good. There it is. Just taking all the jack stands off.
Now we're gonna have to raise your hitch.
So now that the camper's all done, trying to make sure it's gonna be level with the hitch. All right, so we got the camper all lifted. The axles have been flipped. You can definitely see much more room. And if we come back around here, you can see we lifted the camper. This is where the old dump tank was. We lifted it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches. Her clearance is much better. Came home from Pueblo, that's where I did this with my buddies there, and much better ground clearance, and I didn't have any issues on any dips or anything. So if you guys do have any questions about the process or about any of the steps that you saw here, please message me below. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching this video on how to flip your axles. Please subscribe, and we'll see you later.